good evening, good morning, good night. So whatever time you are watching this, I hope you are well. Today, we'll be discussing the historical background of photography. I won't be discussing that on how something works or ano yung chemical composition niya. I will be just stating some facts. For example, ano ang gawa ng albumin. So, hindi ko i-explain kung ano yung albumin, pero sasabihin ko lang na it is a white, the egg whites. So, we will be discussing many personalities and etc. And summary of the history of photography. So first here is Josephine for Niepce. Hindi po Nipsey. Niepce po yung pangalan niya. So he's from France. He was the one who first to make the permanent photographic image. So through photo engraving, he invented photo engraving. Photo engraving, may types din yung photo engraving. So meron yung tinatawag niyang heliograph. Through heliography, he made the first permanent image. Ito yung third na picture dito that is the first uh, first permanent photograph. So, yung last na paragraph, ito yung kaniyang description. So, he nag-experiment siya gamit ang camera obscura. And he made a negative, and he called it retinas. So he was first first to invent the negative too. Ayan yung first picture dito, ito ang one of his example, and it is called a retina. Second is Luis Jaques Mande Daguerre. So nagpartner sila ni Niepce, pero nag-break din sila. Gumawa din siya ng sarili niyang photographic process, which is different from Mr. Niepce. So tinawag niyang daguerreotype. So a photographic process which was easier to put in practice since exposure times were only a few minutes. So pansin niyo dito, 8 hours sabi dito sa heliography ni Josephine Niepce, pero dito is few minutes lang. And yung parang kanyang daguerreotype is he used mercury mercury fumes to develop latent images in a silver plate, and then he used another he used that silver plate. He used a sensitized iodine fumes before exposure and stabilized it with salt water or hypo. So if you see yung mga question is yung mga sinabi kong mga chemicals, then that is the daguerreotype. Okay? Meron din, siya is actually a painter, an artist, si Luis Jaques Daguerre. And meron siyang diorama. Diorama is parang artworks na finiture niya lahat ng kanyang photographs. Meron din si William Henry Fox Talbot. When you think of it, of William, meron yung tawag niyang calotype or datalotype process. Iba ding photographic process. So it is a negative on paper sensitized with silver nitrite and gallic acid are developed in gallic acid. So, yun. Pag silver nitrate at gallic acid, si Talbot. Pansin nyo is the first photograph and yung photograph ni Daguerre is direct positive na siya. Parang yung talagang may kulay may kulay. Yung directly na image na talaga ng photograph. Pero kasi noon is the fuck. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Whatever time you are viewing this video, I hope you're having a great day. Today, we'll be discussing the historical background of photography. So let's jump right through it. So today, we'll be discussing the personalities, chemicals, Sino pa? And the summary of this historical background of photography. I won't be discussing on how the chemical works, on how the exposures work, on ano yung role ng mga different chemicals sa photographic process, pero I'm just gonna state kung ano yung kung saan sila belong. So first is Josephine for Niepce. He is a French inventor who the first one to made a permanent photographic image. 8 hours niyang in-expose. Yan. Through the process called a heliography. So he invented heliography, and also heliography is a type of photo engraving. And he invented also photo engraving. So yung third na picture dito, that is the first permanent photograph. Nag-invent din siya ng negative. Negative, di ba? Pag gusto mong mag-reproduce ng mga pictures ng marami, yun yung parang purpose ng negatives. Meron din siyang ginawa. Pero tinawag niyang retina. Gets ba? Yun. So, next one is Luis Jaques Mande Daguerre. It is another inventor, but with different photographic process. This is called daguerreotype. So, different from Mr. Niepce, he he made another photographic process and he called it daguerreotype. If you if the questions in the board will present yung mga mercury fumes, iodine fumes, hypo, or sodium thiosulfate, salt water, then it is the daguerreotype. So, yung difference ng photographic process ni Niepce and Daguerre is Daguerre has a few minutes of exposure while Niepce has 8 hours. Next is when William Henry Fox Talbot. He made another photographic process. He called it calotype or the halotype. So when you see this silver nitrate and gallic acid kay Talbot, yan. Abel Niepce, the Saint Victor Niepce. In 1848, he perfected the use of albumen. What is an albumen? It is an egg white. So, pag glass plate, si Abel Niepce de Saint Victorian. And si Louis de Serre Blancard Evrard, he invented the albumen process for coating, printing out paper with a mixture of salted egg, whites, and silver nitrate. Frederick Scott Archer. He published a method of using collodion in place of albumen for negative on glass. So, siya yung nagbalit sa egg white sa pag-develop ng photograph. Yun. John F.W. Herschel, he coined the word photography or drawing with light. Yun yung meaning niya. James Clerk Maxwell, he published a research in color perception and the three-color separation of light. Lumiere brothers, so they invented the Lumiere color process. The autochrome plate became the first commercially manufactured practical color process in photography. And yung Eastman Kodak, yung palagi natin nakikita, may mga shop-shop pa siya. Kodak. He introduced the two color subtractive process called the Kodachrome. And yun. And Edwin Land, siya yung first na one-step photography na wherein yung photographic process from taking a picture into the positive print, up to the positive print, one step lang siya sa isang camera. Kaya, pag klinik mo yung camera niya, may positive print agad yan. Tapos igaganon mo ata. Pero, however, namatay siya. Hindi yung work niya is nakalimutan. Pero, meron na din ngayon yung mga parang same na process na one-step photograph. Polaroid. Polaroid yung tawag doon. So, marami pa actually dates, places, people that needs to be memorized. So, I made this question and answer. So, let's start with number 1. He's one of the first to produce photographs portrait using a lens with a diameter of 5 inches and a focus of 7 inches. Who is he? So, it was J.W. Draper. Uh, B. Herschel. C. Nadar. D. Naudocus. So, yung answer dito is si J.W. Draper. So, si Herschel naman, aside from coining the word photography, he invented the ferroprussiate. So, yung kalalabasan nito ng ferroprussiate, parang nagiging color blue yung print niya, hindi black kundi blue. Nadar, first one to take aerial photographs over Paris from a free balloon. So noon, sa traffic ninyo, 'di ba, meron yung mga balloon na pwedeng i-carry yung mga hot air balloon na kaya ng tao. Siya yung first na nag-photograph sa over Paris. Si Doukas de Hauron invented both additive and subtractive color synthesis images by photography. J.B. Dancer, he was the first model of twin lens for stereophotography. We invented the first model of twin lens. J.M. Petzval, he designed the first lens for photographic use. Next question. F.S. Archer, Frederick Scott Archer, invented a method in place of albumen for negative on glass. What is it? So, ano? Di ba ito yung... It is the collodion. So, Mr. Archer publishes the wet process, which is the collodion. So, collodion is parang it uses the egg white in the process of the negative. As I said, I will not explain yung process niya. So, what is an albumen? It is a salted white. It's a egg white, pero nung pinaprocess nila yung mga negatives, linalagyan nila ng salt. So, perfected by Abel de Saint Victor. And din yung ferrotype. It is a collodion, direct positive like ambrotypes but produced on dark metal, monoplaque plate, invented by Ducos, talotype, ito yung kay William Henry Fox Talbot, and ferroprussiate kay Herschel, or what we call the cyanotype, which is blue. Who invented the first truly practical dry plate negative? Ito na yung hindi sila gumagamit ng collodion or hindi collodion, albumen. So who? It was Richard Maddox. Si Edward Muybridge naman, he made the first attempts to photographically analyze a horse gallop for Leland Stanford, which he called the zoopraxiscope. So, si Edward Muybridge actually is one of the pioneers ng motion picture. So, through a series of pictures, he made a moving parang film, a moving scene ng horse gallop ginawa ni Edward Muybridge, pero pinerfect yan ni Thomas Edison. And H.W. Vogel discovered the use of dye substance to extend the sensitivity of photographic emulsion from blue into a green. Si Sir William Abney, he discovered the use of hydroquinone as a developing agent. Ayun. Kagulo-gulo na yung presentation ko. Etienne Marie, he begins the chronophotography to record stages in the flow of movement by recording successive images in a single plate at a constant rate of 12 seconds per 12 per second and faster. George Eastman, the negative paper is introduced. It consists of the light-sensitive emulsion or paper. John Carbot, he manufactured the celluloids-based sheet film. Frederick E. Ives invents the camera to take three-color separation negative. He also manufactured the chromoscope. And Thomas Edison, the pioneer of motion picture. So as I said, I will not explain yung mga invent nila kasi mahirap i-explain and uh, probably pag may subject ako nito, pwede kong maybe in the future I will edit this video for me to explain all what they have invented. Who invented the additive color process using regular line screen checkered with red, green, and blue squares? So it was John Jolly. Auguste Louis Lumiere. So he invented the photodrama, which takes and projects 360 degrees panoramic photograph. Friedrich Deckel invents the compound shutter, which uses gears to control slow speeds and a clockwork movements to control fast speeds. And M. Lumiere, or the Lumiere brothers, they invented the autochrome plate, which became the first commercially manufactured practical color process in photography. Edwin Land, one-step photography, and Homolka and Carnegie, they invented the dye sensitizers that extend emulsion sensitivity into the yellow and red region of spectrum. So, another question. So, pag hindi nyo masurutan dyan sinasabi ko, pwede nyo naman i-post or kung mabilisan naman yung gusto nyo, pwede nyo i-edit yung sa settings ng YouTube para mag 1.25, 1.50 yung speed niya. When was the wire photo invented? So in So wala dito, pero 1921. In 1904, the US radio transmissional photograph is demonstrated dimension is eventually used widely as phototelegraphy. 1927, the full-length film of the jazz singer. 1928, the Rolleiflex twin-lens roll film reflex camera, introduced by Franke and Heidecke. 1929, Germany and J. Ostermeller produced the first commercially acceptable self-contained flash bulb, aluminum foil sealed in an oxygen-filled bulb. So, dito na yung mga forensic light source natin. Or, yung siguro pang art nila, yung purpose ng ginawa nila yung flash bulb. And ito yung first commercially acceptable ni Ostermeller. In 1932, meron yung exposure meter na invent siya. And yung first modern widescreen motion picture system. So, thank you for listening. I just read some kasi minsan pag nagsawa kayo sa presentation ko, dinggin nyo lang yung boses ko yung sinasabi ko. I hope you understand some or memorize that some kasi dito talaga is napakarami talaga eh. Ito. Memorize nyo lang yung mga question ko. I think makukuha nyo lahat yung history ng photography. Pero if you want sa detailed na historical background ng photography, punta kayo sa class, Google class ko. Thank you.